Hello, my name is Lori Martin, your Employee Wellness Coordinator within the district. I asked Dr. Fiedler to spend some time with us talking about and providing his thoughts on actually on the many benefits related to employee wellness and having a healthy workforce. So he generously offered his time, and I thank you for that.
Of course.
As well as Kevin, our public information officer, if you will, and man behind the camera today, so thank you very much.
Hi, Kevin.
Both of you. Okay, so Dr. Fiedler, 100% of our district principals and directors, if you will, officers, recently signed a letter of commitment this year for employee wellness. That, on a broad level, letter asked the leaders to actively encourage and support employees adopting healthier lifestyles. Okay. More specifically, the letter states that leadership will allow wellness champions within each school to share wellness initiatives, host events, assist with wellness announcements, if you will, recognition posting, and the like. We know that the employee wellness program is gaining momentum, and as testimony to that, 100% commitment across the board from your leaders is outstanding. So why do you feel the commitment level is so high?
Well, I would just share first and foremost some of our champions are principals.
Correct.
I think you're well aware of that. So in some cases you have principals that have allowed other people to be champions in their building, but some of our principals have served as champions. But this is, I think we're in year maybe 2 of our wellness initiative. I may have that wrong, but we know that healthy employees are better employees for kids. So I know that the principals have had a lot of fun with different contests, whether that be the pedometer program in terms of number of steps, or they've done Biggest Loser, or we've got folks doing Insanity, and we've got folks doing, what's the one with the tire flipping? CrossFit, thank you. So it's a fun way for people to interact together, I think, also outside of their normal responsibilities as educators. And people have had a lot of fun with it, and again, happy, healthy teachers are better for kids.
Right. I know you run. I know...
Doesn't look like it, but yes, I do on occasion, yes.
Okay. I know you're strongly committed to Insanity and P90X, and as a result, your blood work has been better.
I shared that with you last time I saw you, yeah.
Yes, I know that you consistently track your workouts.
True.
In terms of what you do, and also that that you work out 4 to 5 times a week.
Also true.
Yeah. Plus, you have good support from your wife, your workout and wellness buddy, if you will. Yeah. And I'm certain that you can agree with me that all of that helps you do your job better, certainly.
Absolutely.
So on a typical day, with your specific position, I'm sure you chew up a lot of serious brain power, if you will. And in order for you to recharge and generate some more of that, I know that exercise helps a lot. And the brain benefits that we get, obviously, from exercise only work if we continue to do that. So how would you, or do you, encourage your team leaders and even employees of the district to invest as consistently as possible in their fitness or wellness practices?
So just personally, so I think when we last met, so this is take 2 for
yes, it is.
Folks
yes.
that don't know that. We met earlier when we talked about this. So since May, I have been tracking workouts through beachbody.com. It's a free, it's a free service.
Free is good.
It's in there. It's in their super gym. And since May, I've alternated between Insanity and I just finished 10 weeks of P90X, going back to Insanity actually this week, just trying to change things up. And I've consistently worked out at least 4, and in most months, 5 days a week. I went back and looked.
Okay.
Had a high of 21 days in a month where I had logged in and logged my workout, and a low of 17. So you start looking at that over at least every other day.
Correct.
But again, most weeks for at least 4, and in some cases 5. When we talked last time, I just had been into Kaiser and had some blood work done. My best cholesterol levels ever,
Mhm.
and I eat poorly. That's my problem. I talked about that. I definitely have the workout piece in pretty good place. It's just the nutritional part that I struggle with.
Correct.
Drives my wife nuts because she eats better than I do, and is an avid runner, and she's always mad when my blood work comes back better than hers. And this last time it really came back because she was very upset. Not upset, just how can that be?
How could it be? Yes,
It
yes.
just is. I'm really pleased about it though. But when I think about working out, it's, for me, and we talked about this last time, I don't have any conflicts in terms of my calendar in the morning. It's always best if I do that first thing in the morning.
Right.
And I will tell you that I've never finished a workout and then regretted that I did it.
Right,
Right.
right.
But there are those
Yes.
mornings when I don't get it done, then I regret that I didn't, because then I've got to get it picked up in the evening, and maybe I don't get it done. But it's just, for me, it's a great release mentally. I do a lot of thinking when I run, not so much doing insanity because I'm jumping around.
Right.
It's fun.
Yeah.
But if I'm on the treadmill or out running, it's a great time to think and decompress, and it's great stress relief for me.
Right.
And it goes back to, I think, for our employees, they've got to have an outlet to where they can relieve stress. It's a stressful job.
Yes.
And again, stressless. Is that a word? Cut that out, Kevin. Those employees who have less stress or feel less stress are better for kids.
Right.
I mean, I don't want someone who's stressed out in front of 25, 30, 35 kids in the classroom. It's just a bad situation. But no, it's been important to me. As I've shared with you in the past, regularly run the turkey trot here in Brighton. Sometimes some years faster than others.
Right.
Have run 2 half marathons. I don't know that I'll ever do a full marathon because it just seems like that would be such a long time to run. But honestly, I would say if people have an interest in running, if I can do it, anybody can do it. But back to your question, it's important for folks to have that release and to be physically fit. Of course, our tie-in with Kaiser with the wellness program, of course, is to promote good health.
Yes.
So that if people who are in better shape, who work out regularly, tend to be sick less often.
Yeah.
And whether that's just a cold or the flu or a run down and they can't come in for a day or two at work, we don't want to prevent some of those more serious illnesses, and those folks who are physically fit tend to take better care of themselves.
Right.
They tend to be in better overall condition. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. And most people are aware of the benefits that, employee wellness include, just as you mentioned, the decreased healthcare costs, the improved attendance, and just a better, more supportive work environment. Are there any other values that you think add to that, or have we really touched on it?
I just think people feel better about themselves when they're working out actively. It just puts you in a good frame of mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
While I was personally conducting just some brief Q&As with some of the principals around concerning employee wellness, I was really enthused by how many felt support coming from you, supporting them, and they mentioned breakthrough coaching. Now, from what I hear about breakthrough coaching, it sounds like it embraces some wellness practices. Is there a wellness connection there?
Well, I don't know that there is a physical wellness connection, but very much mental health in terms of, so the idea behind the breakthrough coach is that you do your work at work.
Okay.
And don't take your work home, which I know many of our teachers and administrators do that on a regular basis. But really it is a system between the executives, if you will, the principals and leaders in the district and their secretaries to manage their time and do so wisely.
Right.
I also have given principals permission to go home.
I think they love that.
Right,
Yeah.
well, at
Sure
a decent hour. So,
Yeah.
just a couple of quick stories. We had a principal last year who would set an alarm in her office as a reminder to go home. Well, then she was playing the snooze game in the office where she would just keep.
Yes.
Yeah, she wasn't going home when the alarm was going off.
Right.
And I don't want my principals to be, or any of my staff members in the district, to be so overwhelmed with work that other things suffer in their life, because that makes for difficult time when they come to work. I mean, we all choose this profession as a calling as much as anything else, and we know it's not a 40-hour week.
Right.
But when it's 75 and 80 hours a week, that just doesn't work.
Right.
But the breakthrough coach, the idea there is for people to do their work during the day, to stop taking work home. One of the great catchphrases out of that training is Malachi, who's the trainer, talks about stop giving your work a ride.
Okay.
Meaning that many people will pack up their work,
Yes.
put it in their car,
Yes.
drive it home,
Right,
not look at it,
right,
get in the car in the morning, drive their work back to their office or their classroom, and they don't actually do the work.
Right.
So stop giving your work a ride, if you're, you know, and then again, schedule your day in such a way that you can get your work done. But no, I was very pleased with that training. As I go out and about and visit with principals, one of the great visual tests is clean the office.
Okay.
And my desk doesn't look as good as it should probably today, but just eliminating distractions, not making your office a distraction, you know,
Right.
someplace you don't want to go and hang out. We need people to be out doing the work in classrooms and coaching our teachers and speaking to principals. They need to observe behavior and provide feedback in terms
Right.
of the teachers. And as I've gone out and done my visual check, and again, it's not about the office, it's about principals getting out and
Out.
coaching teachers. But it's kind of that visual, yes, I clean the office, now I'm gonna have my daily meeting with my secretary, now I'm gonna get out and coach. By and large, I've been thrilled with that
Nice.
buy-in from principals. You may have noticed that as well.
oh, yes, very much
I
so.
probably have more stuff than I should. I mean, there's some great examples of what Malachi Pankos, who's the trainer, talks about impeccable workspaces. And some of our principals' offices are down to a table.
Yes,
And
I have definitely seen that,
Right.
yes,
And there's no draw there.
right,
So you go out and they go out and they coach their teachers. They sit, you know, they're not distracted by all the things that are on their desk. It's one task at a time.
Right.
It's scheduled. It's just more efficient.
right.
So I don't know if that answers your questions or not. But
It absolutely does.
But,
Yeah, I was really curious about that because I had heard it so much, and from so many different people, so,
well, it's funny. The other thing that's come up is people don't feel guilty then when they have to be in their office and work,
right,
because it's an office day. So they schedule their work to be done on an office day, and they get their work done, and they're not torn between two tasks. I should be out in classrooms,
Right.
or when they're out in classrooms, oh, I guess I should be back in my office. There's stuff waiting there for me.
Right.
They've got it scheduled where they either have an office day or a coaching day.
Right.
And it's
delineated, one or
right,
the other.
one focus.
Right.
They're not worried about what's going on in the office because they know they've got a day scheduled for that the next day.
Right.
So I think that's more mental health than it is.
Well, which plays a big part.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
as we mentioned, I know in discussions before, it's certainly, when we talk about employee wellness, it is certainly not all about just the physical, the fitness. Wellness has many different shapes and it's so many different pictures. So it's very encompassing of many healthy habits, if you will, and aspects, so.
And I would just, again, our principals and other directors, what Malachi refers to as the executives, if you will, the leaders.
Yeah.
They've done well. I mean, they've really done well in terms of embracing that.
Yep.
I don't know for certain, but I'm pretty sure the alarm clock that was in that one principal's office is gone, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
And we want folks to go home to their families and
Right.
other interests and hobbies and what have you.
Exactly.
So I'm glad that you heard good things, because I think that's wonderful that they're embracing that. That was the intent.
Well, good.
That
Good.
they organize themselves in such a way that they can get out and coach.
Well, again, it's huge from that balance perspective. It just really hits the mark, and it did, so. Thank you very much
You're
for
welcome.
spending this time with us
Oh,
today.
absolutely, my
Really
pleasure, my
appreciate that,
pleasure.
and thank you, Kevin, as well.